My name is Jill Santiago, and I am the director for the Center for Social Justice and Human Understanding, and I teach history and I teach Holocaust studies here as well.
My name is Gayle Sheridan. I am the Assistant Academic Chair of Communication, Radio, TV, and Film.
My name is Tania Velazquez, and I am Assistant Dean of Student Services at the Ammerman campus and college-wide director for career services.
I've been a part of JEDI since its inception a few years back. My role really is to help with the planning. I take part of all the summer institutes and participate in the workshops that we offer throughout the course of the semester. It's been a really rewarding project to be a part of, so it's been really fantastic. By Design, the History of Oppression on Long Island is a documentary series that I've been working on with Gayle Sheridan and Tania Velazquez for about the last year and a half, I would say. The purpose of the project is to look at the history of Suffolk County and specific examples of oppression and how an injustice and how Suffolk County has been created and how it was intentionally designed and has created marginalized communities, it's created segregation.
It's looking at different areas of Long Island and where oppression exists and still exists.
The Ku Klux Klan on Long Island, Camp Siegfried, all of these topics that we've covered, and at the moment we're up to 15 different topics that we've covered, are really, really important to understand the history and to see where we are today so that we can improve the future.
We tend to exist in a bubble and think, no, this is not happening in our backyard. I use the example of human trafficking. That was one of the topics that we highlighted, and it's always, no, not here, that wouldn't happen here. And after interviewing the survivor and even the expert, listening to the expert, it is happening here. It's happening in towns ranging from the west of Long Island all the way to out east, and socioeconomically it doesn't discriminate.
So the project is really about looking at Suffolk County, looking at our history, despite how shameful aspects of it have been, with the purpose of creating dialogue, having discussions, and hopefully creating meaningful dialogue that will lead to change and creating change in our communities.
This project, more specifically, after George Floyd was murdered, and it was during COVID, right? So we were all home, and it was very difficult to, get together because of the dangers associated with COVID-19. So several of us often connected to process these horrible, horrible things.
Gayle is always looking for work to do. We all know how passionate she is, and after George Floyd was murdered, she started having conversations with some of our colleagues about how we were all feeling at that time. So she asked me if I would be a part of the project, and we talked over Zoom. And in having that conversation about what was going on nationally as a result of George Floyd's murder, we started to talk about, well, what does this mean in our own backyards?
So as a result of that, I was watching 60 Minutes one night, and I was like, we could shoot this way. Because Jill is a historian, so she knows a lot more of the history than I do. I know some, I do the best I can, but she is really the expert on that.
We started to talk about issues of segregation. Why is Suffolk County one of the most segregated counties in the country? Why do our school districts look the way that they look? Why are there such incredible disparities in a place where there's so much wealth? All of these things have historical roots, and so By Design really was born out of that conversation about what was happening at the national level, and then thinking about how does that relate to us and our neighborhoods here.
So I was thinking a lot about, well, who else could we ask who's passionate about these kind of issues, and my wonderful friend and colleague Tania Velazquez, she immediately popped in my mind, and I said she would be great.
They brought me on later on for the project.
She's an incredibly kind and caring person and really cares about justice really for everybody.
I look at it as my specific role is the interpersonal piece, whereas Jill is more of the historian, Gayle is more of the radio and television with the students. I bring to my background is counseling, a social worker, so I do the personal interviews. So when there's a topic that needs to be covered, I may take the personal aspect of it.
By design, the history of oppression on Long Island really is JEDI, right? That's really what it's about at its core. It's about thinking about the past so that we can think about creating communities that are more just, equitable, diverse, and inclusive. It's our hope that faculty will be able to use these videos to infuse those principles into their courses and as an extension into the culture of the college.
Our intent was to create instructional media for the college faculty so that they could use in the classroom. So not only the video interviews that we're shooting, there'll be a discussion guide that would go along with all of them. And we also plan to train faculty. We're in the process of releasing them to help faculty start to use them in their classes.
It's a retention piece. It's educating our students on this is happening on Long Island. Gayle has had these conversations with her students of this is happening, we have to bring in awareness, but at the same time it's a class.
I really hope that what it does is really create dialogue. I hope that students are changed because of it. I hope that they learn and then want to share the knowledge, share the things that they've been learning, and that it really creates an environment and creates a culture here at the college where everybody feels like they belong here and they feel understood and they feel seen and they feel welcomed. I think that that's something that's really, really important to me.
What does this project mean to me, Gayle Sheridan? It means everything to me, and I don't think I will ever stop producing content that relates to issues of social justice because it's at the core of my soul. It's who I am, and I have some tools, and I have really talented students and colleagues that I can partner with to help continue to create content. So I'll never stop. I could not be more proud of our students, who have come to the table and put their production skills to practice, and they've done a tremendous job, and they take it seriously, so I mean it's a win-win on so many levels for me, but it warms my heart that they work so hard and they really care about doing a good job.
To go to work every day and to have something that just speaks so close to your heart and is just so intentional with what you believe in. Not many people can say that they have chosen a career that they feel they're making an impact every single day. And working on this project has really given me that. And for that, I'm grateful.
Working with Gayle and Tania has been fantastic. It's been one of the most rewarding projects that I've been a part of. I love the fact that we each bring something very unique and very different and valuable to the project.
So what we have in common is the social justice and that we want to make a difference, but our styles and how we go about it is so different.
It's been one of the most amazing partnerships throughout my career to work with Jill and Tania.
The beauty of working with those two women is that they are teaching me something every single day.
I think that we do face some challenges. I think social justice work is never easy. The nature of the project is to challenge people and to challenge people's ideas, people's preconceived notions about our communities and about our neighbors. I think that because it does challenge, that there is discomfort in that for some people. And that's hard.
Sometimes it's just a little uncomfortable, but uncomfortable to me doesn't mean you don't talk about it.
We knew it's not easy work. If it was easy work, then everybody would jump on and do it.
So it's not something that really bothers me. If somebody pushes back and says it's not important, they're not doing the work, so what do I have to worry about them for? And if they choose not to use it, they can choose not to use it. I wish there was more of an openness to considering using various tools.
I don't turn around and say well, you're wrong, and you have to get there. I do have a patience, and I know that it's a social work term. You meet them where they're at, and I meet the individual where they're at. And I do have people that I work with, and I have worked with, that don't believe in the work.
I think that when we think about JEDI work, there are always going to be people who are going to dismiss it. But I don't think that that can ever stop the work. We have to keep doing it because we know through data that it is the right thing. It is effective, and it does make students more successful, and it's also the right thing to do.
People are going to have some extreme reactions sometimes to things, but the facts are the facts.
I think that we're okay with creating situations that are challenging because we know that there's something very positive that can come, right? We can't create change if we're not challenging the current system that we're living in.